Yes, I know! Skyrim! You're probably tired of hearing this name next to The Witcher 3 and Red Dead Redemption 2. But I can't help myself, because these are legendary games, and Skyrim is the game I couldn't help but put in first place. Not just a game, it's a second home. There is simply no gamer in the world who hasn't heard at least a whisper about this titanic creation by Bethesda. The main assertion? You can live in this game. Or you can just rush through the main storyline without getting distracted by the Radiant quests, of which there are tons. In either case, it will leave a pleasant aftertaste and be remembered for, if not your entire life, then for a very long time. The breathing world of Tamriel. Skyrim is a stable masterpiece since 2011, a legendary work with a detailed, crafted game world, a rich Scandinavian atmosphere, engaging gameplay with a massive exploratory element, and an impressive level of replayability. Snow, blizzards, the northern lights, the roar of dragons, the shouts of the Nords, old ruins full of bandits and mysteries. All this creates the feeling that you are truly inside a magical yet harsh Scandinavian fairy tale. Freedom as a religion. For a person with a rich imagination, the world of Skyrim will be a true salvation from the grayness and monotony of ordinary reality. You are not just the Dragonborn, you are a thief, a mage, an assassin, an arena champion, a warrior, a blacksmith, an alchemist, whoever you want to be in that moment. Dragons, mods, and infinity. Despite the technical miscalculations, hello bugs, we love and remember you, and the not always perfect plot, Skyrim is a cultural phenomenon that has had a colossal impact on the entire gaming industry. It has become a platform for modders who create new content every day, keeping this universe alive for more than 10 years. Thousands of hours, thousands of stories. This is a game where you can forget about the main quest, go looking for another dragon shout, and not return for 100 hours of real time because you found a cave, and in it, an ancient artifact that started a new, incredible chain of events. Skyrim is a cosmos within one game. It is forever #1 in terms of atmosphere, immersion, and the ability to live inside the screen. Resident Evil 4 Remake! First, let's remember, the original came out nearly 20 years ago and became, without exaggeration, cult. This game changed the industry, introduced innovations that became the standard for the genre, influencing series like Gears of War and even The Last of Us. And I'm happy to announce that the 2023 edition of Resident Evil 4 not only didn't disappoint, but multiplied the legacy. Visual and audio overhaul. The graphics and sound design have been updated to modern standards, making the game visually stunning and atmospherically oppressive. The abandoned Spanish village, foggy forests, gloomy castles, all of it looks so realistic and frightening that you can practically smell the dampness and feel the cold of the stone walls. More Resident Evil than the original. It's a paradox, but true. The remake has become more Resident Evil than the original part released in 2005. How? Exploration. The world has become much more extensive. There's always something to explore, secrets and resources to find. You definitely won't be bored. Horror. The game works better with horror elements. It creates a vicious, terrifying atmosphere, not just action with zombies. It builds suspense in the moments where it is most appropriate. Leon and the Spanish Nightmare. The remake preserved the frantic drive of the battles, but added depth to the mechanics and environment. Leon Kennedy is back in action, and his adventure in the Spanish countryside with the Los Ganados cultists feels fresh and terrifying. Every skirmish, every creak of a door, every growl, it's tension. Resident Evil 4 Remake is a magnificent remake that fully justifies its existence and the waiting time. It not only preserves, but multiplies the original atmosphere, making the game a true survival horror masterpiece. I strongly recommend playing it. It is a total 100% immersion into one of the best games in the genre's history. Batman: Arkham Knight. This was probably the last flash of genius in Batman games before Warner Bros. Unfortunately decided to indulge in questionable co-op simulators. But we're not here to mourn. We're here to talk about perfection. And Arkham Knight was, by God, the perfect Gotham. Attention to detail, the flawless rain. Forget the release date. If this game came out today in 2024, you wouldn't believe it's almost 10 years old. The graphics are a miracle. The city, the environment, character detail, the effects, but most importantly, the rain. This rain isn't just droplets, it is the character of Gotham. Its tears, its sweat, its atmosphere. It reflects off Batman's armor, streams down the neon signs, and makes every street noir and dangerous. The developers did a titanic job. Yes, the release was awful, but now, years later, the game is technically flawless, with no FPS drops and superb optimization. Intrigue and narrative depth. The plot, which many criticized, is actually magnificent. It takes the best from the comics and previous installments, adding the intrigue of the Arkham Knight's identity, the chilling but essential role of the Scarecrow, and, of course, the constant mental and physical presence of the Joker. For those who haven't read the comics or watched the trailers, the plot twists are unexpected and compelling. It's not just a fighting game, it's a psychological thriller. Full immersion in the role. It gathers the best of the series, the magnificent free-flow combat system, stealth, gadgets, and, of course, the Batmobile for the first time, which, despite the controversial tank battles, is an integral part of the atmosphere. When you're speeding through the rain-soaked Gotham, you're not a player. You are vengeance. You are the Knight. Arkham Knight is a triumph of atmosphere, especially for those who played the previous installments. It is the final, dark, but incredibly stylish chord in Rocksteady's Batman story. You must try this game, gamers. Must play! Assassin's Creed Origins is not just a game. It is a monumental, stunning, fully immersive archaeological expedition. How many times in childhood, while flipping through history textbooks, did you dream of being there, where Cleopatra ruled, where the sun etched hieroglyphs into stone, and the air was filled with the aroma of spices and ancient mysteries? I'll be honest, Ubisoft didn't just create a map. They resurrected a civilization, breathed life into the sand and the waters of the Nile, and this world will utterly consume you. A scale that takes your breath away. When you climb the Great Pyramid of Giza, it is not just an observation point, it is a rendezvous with history that silences all internal monologues. You stand on the edge of the world, and before you lies an endless, pulsing ancient Egypt, stretching from the sun-drenched oases of Fayum to the noisy, multilingual markets of Alexandria, from the somber tombs to the lively, flowing villages. Architecture and sound, titans of stone. These monuments are not backdrops, they are titans, every block whispering stories 1,000 years old. The Lighthouse of Alexandria, the Sphinx, the temples, these are not mere sights. They are places of power where you want to spend hours just watching how the light changes. And the sound immersion, it's perfect. The wind whistling in the desert, the creak of leather on a camel saddle, the distant chatter in the Ptolemaic dialect, the rush of the Nile feeding this massive world. It's the soundtrack to your personal time machine. An endless urge to explore. Origins forever changed the face of the series, raising the bar for world detail to an unreachable height. Every question mark on the map is not just a quest, It's a chance for discovery. A lost tomb filled with traps and ancient riddles, or a tiny hidden village where life follows laws unchanged for millennia. Bayek is your guide, but the real hero here is the world itself, which literally sucks you in for hundreds of hours. Do you want to forget what your real couch looks like for dozens of hours and feel like an original discoverer in humanity's golden age? No other game has come close to this authenticity and scale of ancient Egypt. This is a masterpiece of atmospheric design, period. Ubisoft, thank you for making the childhood dream of millions come true. Detroit Become Human is not just a game. It is, without a doubt, the best modern interactive movie available today. It's a gorgeous, stunning creation by Quantic Dream that forces you not just to play, but to make decisions with brain-splitting consequences. Photorealism and drama. Photorealistic graphics, superb Russian voice acting. The voices of Connor and Hank sound more convincing than the original, which for me is a massive plus because you don't have to read subtitles. Amazing animations, the staging of fight scenes, brilliant directing. Absolutely everything in this game is magnificent. The plot is so brilliantly developed that I'm still surprised it hasn't been turned into a series or movie yet. 3 fates, 1,000 crossroads. The characters are captivatingly unique. Connor, an android detective, balancing between duty and humanity. Marcus, the leader of the revolution, a symbol of freedom. Kara, an android nanny seeking protection for her daughter. Your choice is your universe. I can't imagine how much effort the scriptwriters put in to create such a massive plot with a multitude of branching paths. Unlike many interactive movies where your choice is illusory, here every choice truly is a choice. You can save or conversely doom any character, and the game will still continue, but on a completely different, unique path. An atmosphere of social drama and rebellion. Detroit raises complex, relevant issues of freedom, self-awareness, and racism, and does so deeply that you start to empathize with these androids as if they were living people. You are immersed in the atmosphere of a futuristic city on the brink of a social explosion. The tension here is not from zombies, but from moral dilemmas. This is a game that grabs your soul, makes you think, and forces you to make decisions with a heavy heart. My respect, Quantic Dream. Horizon Forbidden West is first and foremost a visual manifesto. It's the kind of game that makes you freeze with the controller in your hand and simply watch the sunset, realizing you're not looking at a picture, but at the future of graphics. Yes, I always say that graphics aren't everything, but here they are not just a plus, they are an atmospheric catalyst that pulls along all the other advantages. 125 gigabytes of pure delight. Right from the release, from the very first second, the game delivers a wow effect that fully justifies the giant space it takes on your SSD. This is not just good optimization, it is the pinnacle of technical execution. The detailed world, realistic colors, character expressions and movements, reflections, all create the feeling that you are watching an interactive blockbuster. And this is despite the world not being gigantic by the standards of modern sandboxes, but it is perfectly zoned. Biomes full of life and danger. The map is divided into stunning, contrasting biomes. Icy snow-capped mountains, scorching deserts, dense jungles, and picturesque tropical islands. The weather phenomena, snow, downpour, storms, are not just effects, they are living elements of gameplay, creating constantly changing, breathtaking landscapes. And of course, the photo mode, which is a separate game here. It doesn't just multiply the potential for creativity, it becomes a necessity because every frame in this game is a ready-made work of art. Aloy and the Great Beauty. Yes, Aloy's appearance was discussed by everyone and their mother. But let's cast aside that noise. She saved the world in the first part, she's earned the right. The gameplay and story have not strayed far from its predecessor, but it has taken that formula and polished it to a gleam. The journey to the Forbidden West is an immersion into a world where nature and technology wage an eternal war, where the beauty of the landscapes coexists with the deadly danger of mechanical beasts. An atmosphere of hope in the ruins. Horizon gives you the unique feeling of finding ancient, overgrown ruins of civilization, ours. But instead of a sense of the apocalypse, you feel hope and the dawn of a new world. This is a game not only for Aloy fans, but for everyone who appreciates enchanting landscapes, magnificent graphics, and the atmosphere of a sci-fi primal paradise. It is incredibly, insanely beautiful. I'm not an ardent fan of the Harry Potter universe, but even I, a person far removed from Potteriana, must admit, it was impossible to ignore Hogwarts Legacy because it's not a game. It's the realized childhood dream of millions. An instant portal to magic. The game grabs your hand and literally pulls you in from the first minutes. It's obvious that the developers treated the creation of this world with special, fanatical reverence. Surrounding you is an ocean of details that is impossible to take in all at once. Your eyes literally dart around, and your heart pounds wildly, because here it is, your robe, your wand, your Hogwarts. Hogwarts is the main character. The castle itself is a living organism, a labyrinth full of secrets, moving staircases, whispering portraits, and locked doors. Be careful. If you leave the castle to explore other locations, you might not come back. It's a world that forces you to be an explorer. Yes, the side quests might resemble what you've seen in other games, but here they don't get tedious because you're doing it in Hogwarts. You're not just looking for an object, you're looking for it in an abandoned wing using a newly learned spell. Total escapism. Hogwarts Legacy deserves attention not only from rolling fans, but from anyone who wants to escape the boring, gray reality into a world of wonder, goodness, and magic. Where else can you? Fly on a noble hippogriff over the Black Lake? Circle the castle towers on a broomstick? Walk the streets of Hogsmeade and drink butterbeer. The energy of discovery. That feeling when you first cast Accio or Lumos, it is priceless. This game gives you not just a plot, but an emotional release for your inner child who was always waiting for their letter from Hogwarts. And with the upcoming Quidditch DLC, it will be a complete, total immersion into the world we love. It's not just a game, it's a magical era that has finally become interactive. It's a dream turned into code. Let's be honest, who among us hasn't wanted to escape human problems for at least a day, to turn into someone small, nimble, and absolutely free? Stray is exactly that fantasy brought to life. It's a game that proved you don't need AAA budgets and 100-hour gameplay to captivate millions. You need an idea and a heart. Pause on immersion. The main plot? Simple to the point of genius. A lost cat must return home. But what happens next is pure magic. Like Alice falling down the rabbit hole, you, as the ginger hero, find yourself at the bottom of a neon, gloomy, yet incredibly charming cyberpunk city. This is a world where humanity has long been extinct, nature has taken over the streets, and the only inhabitants are robots. A classic quest in neon slums. Stray is essentially a classic 90s point-and-click quest translated into the language of a new generation. Only instead of a cursor, you have 4 paws and flawless grace. The thought persists. This is a game that should be judged not by gigabytes and polygon count, but by emotional resonance. And in this category, Stray breaks all records. The atmosphere of rain and neon. The darkness of the slums, where no sunlight reaches, contrasts with the bright signs and the rain reflecting in the puddles, creating a feeling of isolation but also coziness. Your mission is not to save the world, but simply to survive and reach the sun. You are a little rebel who slips into places no human could, interacting with the world in unique ways, scratching sofas, knocking over cans, and meowing at the robot inhabitants. An emotional punch in the finale. In an era of endless sequels, grinding, and formulaic projects, Stray has become a breath of fresh air. It is unique, not drawn out, incredibly sweet, and yet profound. And the ending, oh, that ending! It brings tears not post-factum, but because of the meaning the developers put into this small yet significant journey. It's a story about hope, connection, and the idea that light can shine even in the darkest place. This is a masterpiece that proves gaming is the art of emotion, not money. From the sands of Egypt to the snowy fjords of Norway and the green meadows of England, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is a gripping, brutal, yet incredibly beautiful journey into the world of the Vikings, filled with adventures, battles, sagas, and historical mysteries. This is a game that offers a unique opportunity not just to delve into the life of Northern conquerors, but to live your own Viking saga. A world created with historical accuracy. One of the most impressive aspects of the game is its open world. It is vast yet detailed. You explore picturesque, harsh landscapes, discover ancient forest-grown sanctuaries, and, of course, participate in raids and battles with other Vikings and Saxons. Ubisoft once again demonstrated mastery in creating a historical canvas. This world is crafted with magnificent attention to detail and historical accuracy, which gives the game incredible authenticity. An atmosphere steeped in Norse mythology. Valhalla is simply astonishing in its graphics and atmosphere. Picturesque fog-covered fjords, meticulously crafted settlements, and, most importantly, a captivating musical background. All this creates an inexpressible impression. You feel the chill of the north wind, the might of your longship gliding on the water, and the heaviness of your axe. Eivor and the sense of home. The game provides a unique feeling of a nomadic life and building a home. Your settlement is your center, which you develop, expand, and defend. It's not just a base, it's a Valhalla on Earth, a place where you can relax, drink ale, and listen to sagas. This adds emotional depth to your endless raids. Valhalla is an amazing journey into the past that will enrich you not only with historical knowledge, but also with a powerful emotional charge. If you are fascinated by mythology, brutal adventures, and are looking for a game where the world is both insanely beautiful and dangerous, this game is a must-play. You will rarely see such beauty, so harsh yet alluring, in any other game. Skull to Odin! I will not hesitate to state, Dead Space Remake is the best remake I have ever seen, especially among horror games. This is not just a transfer of an old game to a new engine. It is a colossal effort that proves a remake should not only preserve, but multiply the legacy of the original. Atmosphere of fear. The breathing Ishimura. The developers at Motive Studio took everything we loved about the original and brought it to absolute perfection. Graphics, sound, and gameplay. They introduced many new mechanics and elements, making the game interesting for both newcomers and old fans. The spaceship Ishimura here is not just a location, it is a monster of metal that breathes, groans, and dies with you. Sound that kills your nerves. The main atmospheric tool here is sound. You constantly hear something, a rustle behind you, a distant thump in the ventilation, the creaking of the hull, necromorphs that you don't see, but you know for a fact are somewhere near. It's a masterclass in sound design for the horror genre. Isaac Clarke, engineer and hero. You, as the engineer Isaac Clarke, arrive at a distress signal to find your wife and discover the ship in ruins, full of monsters and terrifying experiments. The remake has no obvious flaws. One simply doesn't want to nitpick here. The brutality, the dismemberment system, a deeply detailed world with new zones and logs that immerse you in the story, all of this works towards a total escapism into a nightmare. A genre revival. The resurgence of this game is a significant event, especially for those who have never played Dead Space. An exciting adventure awaits you, filled with brutality, a viscous, oppressive atmosphere, and a deeply detailed world. This remake is truly a masterful reinterpretation, worthy of respect for the legacy. The Ishimura is waiting, and it's hungry. Prepare for the scariest yet most captivating walk in space.